Hi, Tasso Kyriakis here from Body's Personalized Fitness in Ormond Beach, Florida. And I want to thank you for coming to www.flatabsasap.com, where you're about to hear a presentation by Ellington Darden, one of the most renowned fitness writers there is in the country. He's written books like The Nautilus Book, The Nautilus Diet, Bigger in 42 Days, for bodybuilders and the beginning exerciser. He's been the research director for Bowflex as well as Nautilus Sports Medicine. Dr. Darden's most popular book in 1995 was Flat Stomach ASAP. He's gone back, taken thousands of testimonies and research from what he got the best results with, and now has come out with the Abs Secret ebooks that you're able to download on this website. When you do that, you'll see the 3 secrets plus all the vast wisdom that he has. This presentation will tell you about those 3 big secrets, answer some questions for people, and then we'll come back and I'll talk to you about programs at Body's Personalized Fitness, where you, if you don't want to go at home and you want coaching, we can help you succeed at your flat stomach ASAP.
Well, this is just a brief introduction and perhaps a little bit of a motivation speech to try to get any of you who feel like you need to lose some fat from around your midsection and get in a little better shape perhaps before September or so. And if you look throughout the United States and at the statistics about fat and what people experience in it, you see some astounding statistics that this year, 2010, 82% of the adults in the United States are over fat to the point that it's endangering their health. 82%. In fact, some people say that the people who are fit in the United States are all just about under 20. If you go on the beach here in Daytona, you'll see some fit, good-looking people, but most of them are teenagers. They're not adults. Now, there are a few exceptions, but taking those same statistics, I calculated some 20 years ago that it's about 1 to 2% increase every year. It used to be like about 50% of the adults were over fat for their age and height. Well, that was back in the 60s. You know, some 60 years later, 50 to 60 years later, it goes up a percentage point or 2 each year. So if you keep going up and follow it up by like 2025, every adult in the United States will be over fat and out of shape. Now it's obvious to me, and it should be obvious to you, that something's wrong. Well, I'm here to tell you that there is something wrong, that it involves 3 steps. If you are fat around your midsection, you're also fat under your chin, around your thighs, and throughout your body. You just have the propensity to put on most of your fat, like most people do in the United States, around the waist, or if you're a female, around the hips and thighs. So we have evolved to carry fat around the midsection because, you know, 5,000 years ago it was advantageous to have 5 or 10 pounds of extra fat because that would make the difference between you perhaps making it through the winter, especially if you didn't have enough food. So a little bit of fat goes a long way, and our genes have been passed down by our ancestors to the point that in today's society we've got too much fat. We're not starving. We're not facing calamity or a feast or famine situation. So the real problem, or the real secret you might say, is how do you get rid of that fat? Well, what I've done in these ebooks and in my other books that I've written that are longer is I talk about 3 secrets, 3 guidelines. If you can understand these 3 guidelines, then you can master getting the fat off your midsection and throughout your body, and you can probably master the whole concept of removing the fat and keeping it off for the rest of your life. So the first one of these guidelines, the first secret to getting at your midsection has to do with exercise. And these two machines really nail the exercise that I'm going to tell you about. Most people do a form of a sit-up if they're trying to work their midsection. So the function of the midsection is to shorten the distance between your chest and your navel. You move down like this. Most people have a tendency to work the upper abdominals more than the lower abdominals during any type of exercise for the midsection. That's okay. But the real challenge is being able to work that area around your navel where most women have problems and most men over 40 have problems, that lower abdominal fat. And I was telling some of the guys that work here earlier that the single best exercise for your midsection, if you're strong enough to do it, is called a hanging leg raise. That's where you hang by your arms or by your hands and you bring your feet up and touch your hands on a high bar. Now, I was mentioning on the radio earlier that if you can do a dozen of those, you don't need to be sitting listening to me talk. You've already got great abdominals. But most people cannot do one. So the man behind this machine and that machine figured out a way to do a hanging leg raise on your knees. And done properly, this machine works the abdominals from what we call the bottom up. And you feel it right under your navel if you do it properly. And we'll demonstrate this later on. But the first secret has to do with doing a bottom-up abdominal exercise and doing it 3 times a week or at least 2 times a week, combined with 4 or 5 other exercises for the complete body. You know, something, 2 exercises for your lower body and maybe 3 exercises for your upper body, done in a progressive manner whereby you're building muscle or you're stimulating your muscles to grow at the same time as you are losing fat from the midsection and throughout the body. Which brings us to the second secret, or the second guideline. The first guideline has to do with exercise for the midsection and other parts of the body. The second guideline has to do with eating fewer calories and dividing your calories that you do eat in a 24-hour period of time into small meals more often.